In 1713, a great war suddenly ended, and thousands of skilled sailors found themselves without a job. They were masters of the sea, experts with cannons and swords, and now they were floating in the Caribbean with nowhere to go. These weren't just any sailors, they were called privateers, which was like being a pirate with permission from a king. But when the War of Spanish Succession stopped, their permission was gone. Suddenly, these brave and dangerous men were seen as outlaws. They needed a new home, a place safe from the powerful navies that now hunted them. They found it on a small island called New Providence, in a rundown port named Nassau. The town was a mess of shacks and shanties, but the island itself was a perfect fortress, designed by nature. The magic of Nassau was its water. The sea around the island was very shallow, like a giant puddle. This meant huge, heavy Navy warships could not get close without getting stuck in the sand. But inside this ring of shallow water was a deep harbor, perfect for the pirates' smaller, faster ships to hide. This amazing spot was also in the perfect place for business. It sat right next to the main sea roads used by ships carrying gold, silver, and other treasures from the Americas back to Europe. For a pirate, living in Nassau was like living next to a highway full of treasure trucks. It was the ultimate ambush location. Into this perfect pirate paradise sailed two clever leaders, Benjamin Hornigold and his young friend Edward Thatch. The world would later know Thatch by a much more famous name, Blackbeard. They saw more than just a place to hide. They saw a chance to build something new. Hornigold and Blackbeard didn't just want a secret base. They dreamed of a whole country run by pirates, for pirates. A place with no kings, no cruel navy captains, and no unfair rules. They called their new home the Republic of Pirates, and soon hundreds of ships flew the black flag over Nassau. But a country needs rules to work. And the pirates created something amazing. They called it the Pirate Code. This was not a list of suggestions. It was a set of laws that every crew member agreed to follow, creating a society that was fairer than almost any other in the world at that time. The most shocking rule was about who was in charge. On a pirate ship, the crew voted for their captain. Think about that. If they didn't like how the captain was leading, they could hold another vote and pick a new one. The captain only had total control during a battle. This code also made sure everything was shared fairly. Every single pirate got a piece of the treasure, and if a pirate was hurt in a fight, the code had a plan. They would get a bigger share of the gold to help them. It was a promise that everyone would be taken care of. This wasn't just a gang of thieves, it was a brotherhood. But these rules were not just words on paper, they were the building blocks for a real-life pirate city, a place unlike any other on Earth. So what was it like to walk through the streets of this pirate metropolis? Imagine a town buzzing with energy. Loud music and songs poured out from open doorways. The air was thick with the smell of cooking food, salty sea air, and smoke from workshops where blacksmiths fixed swords and tools. It was a place of controlled chaos. This city, Nassau, became a safe spot for pirates. Here, they could rest, repair their ships, and spend their treasure freely. There were no kings or governors telling them what to do. For the first time, they had a home base that was truly their own. A busy, noisy, and exciting capital for their new country. And this pirate capital had its own superstars. The most famous pirates of the age all gathered here. They were known as the Flying Gang, an all-star team of the sea's most daring captains. They were the celebrities of their time. The group included the fearsome Blackbeard, who was known for his theatrical style. There was Black Sam Bellamy, a handsome pirate who saw himself as a hero, and the clever Calico Jack Rackham, famous for his colorful clothes and even more famous for his flag. But it wasn't just men who made Nassau legendary. Two of the most famous pirates, Anne Bonny and Mary Read, also walked these streets. They proved that courage and skill were what mattered on the high seas, not whether you were a man or a woman. Their presence made the pirate republic even more special. So how did this pirate city survive? It ran on a powerful black market. The pirates didn't just keep all the gold and goods they captured. They needed to turn it into money they could use. Nassau was the perfect place to do that. Merchants from other colonies would secretly sail to Nassau. They bought the pirates' stolen sugar, cloth, and other goods for very low prices. This secret trade made the pirates rich and supplied them with everything they needed. It was the economic engine that fueled their entire republic. But here is one of the most amazing truths about this pirate society. It was surprisingly diverse. On many pirate ships, nearly 1/3 of the crew were men of African descent. Many of them had escaped from a life of slavery aboard a pirate ship. These men were treated as equals. They voted for their captain and received a full, equal share of any treasure. This was a kind of freedom and respect they could not find anywhere else in the world. In the Pirate Republic, a person was judged by their skill and bravery, not the color of their skin. But here is the most thrilling part of their story. The Republic of Pirates was not just about treasure. It was a rebellion. These pirates were running away from something terrible. Life on a navy ship or a merchant boat was awful. Captains were cruel, food was bad, and sailors were treated worse than animals. In Nassau, they created a new world. Remember their pirate code. Every person had a vote. They chose their own leaders. They shared everything fairly. It was the opposite of the world they had left behind. They were building a place based on freedom. So, this pirate country wasn't just a hideout for criminals. It was a bold stand against a cruel system. It was a dream of a fairer life, built by the people who had been given nothing. They were fighting for their own kind of freedom on the open sea. But a dream this big could not be ignored. The British Empire saw Nassau as a threat, a nest of rebels that had to be destroyed. So, in 1718, they sent a man to end it all. His name was Captain Woodes Rogers, and he was a former privateer himself. He knew exactly how pirates thought. Woodes Rogers arrived with a powerful fleet and a very clever plan. He offered every pirate in Nassau a choice. They could accept the king's pardon, which meant they would be forgiven for all their crimes. Or they could face his warships and be hunted down, give up and be free, or fight and be finished. This offer broke the pirate brotherhood apart. Many pirates were tired of fighting. They took the pardon. Even one of the founders, Benjamin Hornigold, accepted the deal. He laid down his sword and promised to live a peaceful life. The great pirate alliance was starting to crumble. And then came the great betrayal. Benjamin Hornigold didn't just retire, he became a pirate hunter for the British. He used all his secret knowledge of the islands and his old friends to track down those who refused the pardon. The pirates were now being hunted by one of their own. Think about this amazing story. The Republic of Pirates lasted for only about 10 years, a short, bright flash in history, and yet, our whole idea of what a pirate is comes directly from this time. The swashbuckling hero, the rebel who lives by his own rules. That all started here. Every time you see a pirate in a movie or read about one in a book like Treasure Island, you are seeing the echo of Nassau. That romantic, adventurous spirit is the legacy of these real people. They fought for a dream of freedom that we are still telling stories about hundreds of years later. And while their pirate country was defeated, it leaves us with a big, lingering question. What does it mean when the people with the least power in the world break away to build something new? A place that is more fair and more free, even if it only lasts for a moment. It shows that the dream of a better world is a treasure worth fighting for. Even though the pirate country was gone, its stories grew bigger than ever. This is where many legends of buried treasure truly began. With nowhere safe to keep their gold, some pirates dug holes on secret islands. They drew maps so they could find it again. These maps were not just for stories. They were real guides to hidden riches. Imagine a pirate alone on a sandy beach, burying a chest filled with shiny coins and jewels. He was creating a secret that could last for hundreds of years. A puzzle for the future. But for most pirates, the real treasure wasn't gold at all. It was things they could use right away. Food, rope, sails, and medicine were worth more than gold on the open sea. Capturing a ship full of supplies was a huge victory. It meant they could keep sailing and keep being free. So if buried gold was rare, what was the true legacy of the Pirate Republic? The answer is something much more valuable. An idea that would echo far beyond the sunny shores of Nassau. Nobody saw it coming. Think about the pirate code. Every person on the ship got a vote. They chose their own captain. These were brand new ideas. They were seeds of democracy, planted on a pirate ship long before many countries had the same rights. This spirit of freedom and fairness is why we still love pirate stories. We see it in movies and read it in books. The idea of a group of people making their own rules and living a life of adventure is exciting. The Pirate Republic of Nassau wasn't just a place, it became a powerful story. After Nassau fell, the Golden Age of Piracy began to fade. Some of the most famous pirates, like Blackbeard, were hunted down in great sea battles. Others took the king's pardon, a promise to be forgiven if they gave up piracy forever. The great pirate fleet scattered to the winds. But the feeling of that special time never completely left the Caribbean. The hidden coves and sunny beaches still seem to hold secrets. If you sail those waters today, you can almost imagine the flying gang appearing over the horizon. Their legendary ships sailing on a sea of memory. That desire to be in charge of your own life is something everyone understands. The pirates of Nassau were tired of being told what to do by kings and captains they didn't choose. They wanted a life of their own making, a life of adventure, risk, and reward. And that is the most amazing part of the story. For a short, shining moment in history, they actually did it. They built a world for themselves, run by their own rules, in the middle of the ocean, a pirate republic. It was a wild, daring dream that, for a little while, was completely real.